So this is a brand new Seka Spear, and that is probably the nicest frame unboxing experience I've ever had. And this is possibly the most interesting and exciting new frame launched in 2024. And I believe I'm one of the first bike journos to get a chance to test this new frame. So very exciting indeed. Exciting because, well, Seka is a Chinese company. They're not trading on being the cheapest or a copy of a Western frame. They are trying to be ambitious and really lead forward with innovation and high quality frame design. But that's not to say it's not a bit of a bargain as well. And during this video, in which I'll give you a first look at the frame, get it built by a pro bike mechanic, and hopefully if we have time, go for a first ride. There will be many references and comparisons to the specialized Tarmac SL8. So first up, the price. The frame set retails for £2,600 in the UK, and that compares to about £5,000 for a specialized Tarmac SL8. So about half the price, and that's very impressive indeed.
When it comes to buying a Seka, here the company is pushing really hard to get dealers around the world. Right now in the UK, they have one bike shop in London, and I spoke to them the other day, and firstly, they told me they've had loads of interest in the new Spear, and they do have limited stock of certain colours and sizes right now. The price includes a lifetime warranty on the frame and 5 years on the handlebars and other parts, and the shop will act as a point of after-sales service as well. This is a crucial step for Seka to really focus on and make the buying journey as easy and reassuring as possible, the same as any Western brand.
And in terms of aero testing, I first met the team when they were in the UK back in the summer using the Silverstone wind tunnel for testing the bike. They put it up against the Tarmac SL8, and these are their claims, not mine. It tested very well indeed, with the same wheels, tyres, the same testing protocol, and with a rider on the bike. And they've gone as far as sharing all the details from that wind tunnel test in a white paper, which I'll link down below in the description. So if you want to validate the data, you can go through all the numbers, all down there. They're not trying to hide anything. There is total transparency around that testing, which is very refreshing indeed. So in terms of aerodynamics, it does, if their claims are to be believed, stack up really well against the Tarmac SL8. And it also stacks up really well on the scales as well.
Seka claims 685 grams for an unpainted frame and 725 grams with shadow black paint, which is pretty decent and on a par with the Tarmac SL8 S-Works. The actual weight for this size large frame with no hardware attached is 780 grams. So not super lightweight, but definitely not heavy. Meanwhile, here's a fork, handlebar and seat post on the scales as well. We'll see what the full bike weighs later in the video after it's been built.
And it is a really cool looking bike, especially this launch edition colorway. This is frame 19 of 200 with a small plaque down there. And possibly the most distinctive eye-catching feature is this here, the way the seat stays connect to the seat tube, which they dubbed the wind eye.
It's claimed by the company to expel turbulent air caused by the legs pedaling and reduce the low pressure zone in this area. Their claims, not mine. But personally, I'm not too worried about the claimed aero benefits because I think it looks cool as heck. I'm also a fan of the way a Trek Madonna looks, which has a similar thing going on with the ISOFlow. Could we see more aero bikes in the future featuring holes in key places? God only knows, but at least Seka are doing something different and it stands out against all the frames that increasingly look the same.
And as well as aero benefits, they also claim compliance, and the seat post, which is their own design, D-shaped profile, fairly standard, but very slim that way. And they say the seat post and the wind eye contribute to up to 17 millimeters of seat post deflection, which is more than a Giant Defy and other endurance bikes. So possibly endurance levels of comfort from a race bike. So that's the most distinctive feature, a real talking point when you rock up at a cafe club ride on this bike. That is what people will point to and ask questions about. So the wind eye, 2.6 watts worth, apparently. The rest of the frame looks really nice as well. Very deep aero head tube, fairly slender top tube, but not the skinniest in the world at all. Nice deep kind of D-shaped camtail down tube with 3 bottle cage mounts on the down tube and just 2 on the seat tube. And it's disc brake only. There is no rim brake version. And some other detail worth pointing out is we have a 68mm threaded bottom bracket, no press fit, no T47. So that is pretty cool. The dropout isn't UDH compatible, which is, I think that's expecting too much of road bikes for the next few years at least. I think the 51 Seka and the Trek Madone are the only 2 road models with SRAM UDH. It will be a gravel-led development for the next few years at least. And they say there are 350 pieces in the construction of the frame. And I'm not going to cut the frame open and do a carbon fiber inspection, but looking around inside the frame where I can through the head tube, it all looks very clean. If I stick my finger in there, no sharp edges. All does look very smooth indeed. All smooth around the seat tube there and around the bottom bracket. Nice metal threads for the bottom bracket there to go in. All looks very smooth. No real concerns so far, but that will be part of my long-term testing. So yeah, that's the frame. I like the colorway. This is a launch edition. Unlike other companies that release 1, 2 colors, we have a range of colors to choose from. And that again definitely makes Seka stand out with that range of colors. And I think it's a well-proportioned frame. I like the decals. I like the fact there's just graphics on the down tube of Seka up there. And of course it's UCI compliant as well. So if you're a pro racing, you can happily race this. And then we have their brand new handlebar, all new design, lighter than the previous one-piece carbon handlebar. And there are up to 19 combinations of stem length and width down to 36 centimeters in the hoods with a 25mm flare or extra width in the drops. So this here, for my size large frame and for my height, is a 37.5 centimeter width handlebar in the hoods, and the stem is 11 centimeters long. So a nice looking handlebar indeed. And it's halfway between a specialized rapide handlebar with the shape there and a bit of envy going on as well. And that sort of distinctive shape there reminds me of the Trek Madone. So their own handlebar. The frame comes with a box of bits, and in here are all the gubbins you need to build the frame.
To get the frame built up and ready to ride, I popped to my local bike mechanic Scott at Cotswold Bike Works, linked down below, to watch a bike come together. Hit the music.
So what was building this bike like for you as a mechanic?
Actually, it went quite well once we got our head around the battery where it sits into the frame. It's actually a really good system. Ease of use for people when they're going to go on holiday and want to take the seat post out. Do need to be careful on sizing of the seat post because it's limited as to how far it can go down and go up. But the rest of it went together really, really well. Quite impressed actually. It seemed like good quality. Yes.
And you built quite a lot of high-end frames as a reference
yeah,
point,
it's very similar to, I'd say, SL7, SL8 Specialized. Yeah, it feels, that sort of quality. I would probably buy one if I was in the market for one.
So there we go. It's built and ready to ride, and I think it looks pretty damn good. Really impressed with how it's come together. And as you can see from the scales, it weighs a very impressive 6.65 kilos for a size large, which from memory is the same weight as a S-Works SL8 Tarmac with Reval wheels and a Shimano Dura-Race Di2 group set. We have Ultegra here because I prefer the colour of Ultegra, and it's really only a few hundred grams heavier than Dura-Race, and essentially the same group set, but the smart choice and the money you save buying Ultegra over Dura-Race you can spend on your wheels. And these are the brand new Black Ink 48/58 wheels, so called because the front wheel is shallower, 48, and the rear wheel is deeper, 58, apparently for better aero. But despite how deep the rims are and how aero they look, they weigh just under 1,300 grams, which is very impressive, very lightweight. That's up there with Cadex and Hunt and other lightweight wheels. Thanks in part to carbon fibre bladed spokes, which are increasingly common on high-end wheels, with the company's own alloy hub shells and ceramic speed bearings. But not really mad keen on these massive Black Ink logos, a bit bold for my liking. And then finally, tyres are 28mm wide Pirelli P0 tyres, tubeless, naturally, because it's better, and a very well used mirror saddle from Specialized off my TCR. So yeah, the bike is ready to ride, but unfortunately, looking out the window, it's pinging down rain. So I'm not gonna ride a bike today, so I think I'll end the video right there. And stay tuned for a first ride on a bike, hopefully when some nicer weather comes our way, because it's pretty grim out there right now. Anyway, thanks to Scott for building the bike. I'll put a link to a website down below if you're in the Cotswold area and want a bike service or a bike build, and a link to the Seka website to check out the bike in more detail, and a link to that white paper as well. And if you want to see that first ride coming very soon, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button down there. But that's all today, guys. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.